Just about, and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name's Bev G. Star. I'm an artist and workshop host from Weston Supermare, but I'm also the creative director of that Creative Thingy Wotsit, along with the creator of Humans of Weston. And currently I'm doing a project called Creating Connections, where I go around and shine light on the beautiful humans behind the scenes. And today I am joined by Barry.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you, Barry. We're also very well. Thank you again for taking the time to speak to us. Before I talk to you today, I'm just going to remind those that do not know, or enlighten those that do not know, and remind you that there's funding for this project, and it's been provided by the Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport in partnership with the National Lottery Community Fund. And today we're shining light on Barry. So Barry, please tell us a little bit about who you are and what organisation you're representing today.
Right, well, I'm Barry Edwards. I'm a trustee of Somewhere to Go, which is a homeless charity in Weston Supermare. We've been in existence for about 22 years now, 23 years. We open as a day centre 5 days a week, where we provide hot meals for people in poverty, deprivation and rough sleeping. And in the evenings, we did have, until the COVID pandemic, started a night shelter, which we provided up to 12 beds for people that were rough sleeping. Because of COVID, we've not been able to do that, but we still run the day centre, which we can still open because we've taken the right kind of precautions to make sure that people can come in safely and either eat on the premises rather, or have a takeaway meal. And of course, the wraparound services that we also provide there, we provide nurses. They're there 5 days a week looking after people's needs. Wow. We have people coming in from the DWP for housing claims and benefit claims. We have people coming in from various housing associations. So it's a one-stop shop and a facilitating organisation really for people. And we're hoping to expand that later on this year as we move the day centre. Yeah,
that is like so much, and already you've just covered so much about who you guys are, what you're representing, and exactly what you are about. Now, I don't know if you remember, but years and years ago, when I first started Humans of Weston, Somewhere to Go were actually a feature on Humans of Weston with written articles about the staff there and the members. And I wanted to always come back to Somewhere to Go because they made such an impact on the community, just such a beautiful impact. And like you said, and I'm so very pleased because I was unsure until I obviously had time to speak to you today, that you continued working with essential purpose through the COVID pandemic, because my question was going to be, how did the COVID and how has the COVID pandemic affected the work that you've been trying to do?
Right, well, thank you. I'm sorry to have jumped your question. But yeah,
you're right.
I just talk too much, Bev. We have been able to continue. We did close for a couple of weeks because we weren't back in March. Nearly a year ago now, when everything in the first lockdown, everything had to close. So we had to reevaluate very quickly about what our position was with COVID, because the need was still there. The need hasn't gone away, and a lot of the people that we looked after, for various reasons, because they're either in a chaotic situation, might not be aware of the actual situation. So we still needed to be there for them, and we quickly put together something with the help of, and I've got to say this, the local authorities, the town council, particularly Weston Town Council and North Somerset Council themselves, have really been a great help to us in making sure that the health and safety aspects and the support was there from both organisations. I can't thank them enough, really. They've been very, very good.
That's beautiful, and so humbling of you to be aware that that your projects can't happen without the help of other people, and and again are lifted higher because of the help of other organisations. So what other organisations have you been working with? So you've just name dropped the North Somerset Council and the Town Council.
Yeah.
Other organisations?
Yeah, indeed. We work closely with what used to be Adaption, which is now We Are With You. In fact, one of the operating officers there is one of our trustees. So that's how closely we work together. And of course, we work together with the people supplying food as well. There is a lady who goes around in the evening with a trolley giving food out on the streets, Michelle Pellegrino.
We know of Michelle's
She
beautiful
does a
work.
brilliant job. She really does. And what we tried to do before this current lockdown is open up our facility on a Sunday night for her to serve food inside rather than outside. And I think we'll continue to do that in the future, working with Michelle, because we get a lot of our food from the same places. I mean, Greg's in Weston have been fantastic. Both Greg's stores supply us with everything that's left over at the end of the day for feeding people, which is great news. So, you know, we do work with them. We also work with the social services, because Julie, who's our manager of the day centre, works closely with social services to make sure that they can get emails through our system. They can use somewhere to go as a physical address for their post, which is important. They also use our computers to log on to start their claims if necessary. So it's all about getting people back into a way of life that they may have missed by being evicted from somewhere and sleeping rough for a few months, and losing everything, because we very often get people in that have got absolutely no idea at all. So we then have to apply for birth certificates, which we get funding for, and then start the whole process of building an identity for someone.
Wow, I didn't even realize it was that deep. I didn't even realize. I just thought, you know, you just opened your doors and let these people, you know, let the people that need these services in for a cup of tea and a nice warm chat. So thank you so much, because part of the reason why we're here is to shine a light on the actual things that your organization does. So thank you so much, Barry. What about, so how is it run? Is it run with volunteers? And if so, how many do you have?
It's mainly volunteers. There are 2 full-time workers in the day centre. That's Julie and Tony, and they've been there for literally years on the day centre, and they still run that. And then we have a facilities manager, because of course we own the whole building. So she looks after the rented unit downstairs, which is now the Safe Haven, which is run by Second Step Charity, who I'm sure you're aware of. That's just been announced this week. And also the premises upstairs, which is the day centre, and what used to be the old Eurofood supermarket, which we've taken over, and we're going to make that into the new day centre. Which is great, yeah. So 3 full-time employees and about 10 to 15 regular volunteers. We've got Sue and Rob, who are our chefs, and they take turns in cooking a full roast dinner every day for everybody. And then other volunteers that, you know, are in there clearing away and making sure people are attended to, handing out clothing if they need it, sleeping bags, all that kind of stuff.
There's so much going on, and those volunteers. And do you take on volunteers often? Like, is there kind of like how do people get involved with volunteering if they want to? Just pop down, or is there any?
Yeah, just pop down. It's a bit difficult under COVID because the door's shut most of the time now. So we only let people in by if we know them. But yeah, just give us a call if you feel the need to volunteer, which I hope you do, because it's a great organisation to be a volunteer at. There is something happening which we will need volunteers for. Do you want me to say?
Yes, I do. Well, I mean, I mean, you know, like privy. You know, if you're
well, this is brand new news. Yeah, it's this week. In fact, I only announced it to the board on Friday, so you're the first people outside the board of trustees that know. We've actually been gifted a shop in Weston to use as a charity shop.
Wow.
So we're going to be opening that as soon as we can. Obviously, under COVID, we can't open. But as soon as we're able to, then we'll be using it as a charity shop. And that should give us some funds to do what we need to do.
Wow. Absolutely. That must be huge for you guys. So really, like, you're just creating a community that's just helping the community. I think that's beautiful.
It has to be self-sustaining. We can't keep going cap in hand to the government or local authorities for funding. Even though we have great outcomes, and there will still be funding from that, I'm sure. But it would be nice to think that we can generate our own cash to run the charity. I mean, that's what most charities do, isn't it? So it's our next step really, and because it's been gifted to us, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. I'm going to stop you there, Barry. I'm just going to go over to a comment that Stephen's written. So Stephen's joined us to say it's great to see us. Luann's gone on to say good afternoon, Bev and Barry. Thank you, Luann, for joining us. It's a pleasure. And then Stephen's left a comment that says, what a wonderful supporting role you play in our community. Homelessness is always a difficult and challenging issue, and it is heartwarming. Hang on, my comments moved. Homelessness is always a difficult and challenging issue, and it is heartwarming to know that Somewhere to Go will be there to help and support those who need it. Spot on, May. And again, as part of my role in this project, creating connections, to shine a light on you, Barry, because you've been a wonderful face of the community for quite a few years now. I believe we met a few years ago when you were handing for food for the homeless. I mean, I didn't really know your connections to Somewhere to Go at that time, but it's always nice to see your beautiful face on the internet, and it's always wonderful to hear about your wonderful things that you've done in the community. So thank you. Luann,
I'm going red now, Bev.
Well, it's star treatment. Everyone gets a nice compliment, but they're always true. So we go with that. So Luann says, such amazing news. And thank you, Luann, for your love. Tanya goes on to say, hi, Tanya. I'm going to say hi, Tanya. Sorry, she doesn't say hi, Tanya. I did. Tanya goes on to say, great news. Are Somewhere to Go accepting any donations at the moment?
No, it's very difficult under COVID, but if you can leave it a few weeks, then we will be. I'm sure when by the end of this month, we'll open up for donations again.
Yeah. So probably this is a good time to name drop where people can kind of follow your sort of information drops, whether that be your social media or your website or a newspaper. How do we find out about?
You can either get through Weston Night Assessment Centre, which is our main Facebook page, or somewheretogo.org on the internet, and that will bring you straight to our webpage. And the webpage has had all the information about donations and who we are and what we do.
Beautiful, mate. I think you're going to have a few likes today. I think people are, because it's okay that we hear the name Somewhere to Go or Western Night Assessment Unit, etc. But it's our centre. But it's always really, really nice to see actually and hear one-to-one or face-to-face what's going on. So I want to ask you about the people that have used the service within the Somewhere to Go. How has your project changed their lives? What has been the benefits to them?
I can't mention any names, but there are some that come to mind. I bumped into someone in Whitecross Road not too long ago, and my wife was just in the baker's there getting some stuff, and this lady was on the pavement with a bike. And I said to her, "Hi, how you doing?" And she went, "Oh, hi Barry, how are you?" And she said, "Oh, it's great. I've got a flat round the corner now, and all ensconced in there. Really, really good."
Can Adam come in
here? And she was someone that had been on the street for probably a year.
Yeah.
And there she is in her own flat, and making her own living, and really changed from someone that was drug and alcohol dependent and living rough sleeping to living in her own flat. And that I think that happens more often than you would think. I mean, we all have this opinion or not opinion, but we all have this perception of people that are on the street as being permanently there. And it is very difficult to get people off of rough sleeping because they have their own community almost, but it can be done. It does need some help from themselves though, and that's what we're here for. Of course.
Yeah. But how do they know how to help themselves if somebody's not at least giving them a hand up in the world? It is now. And there's such a stigma against drug abuse and substance abuse and being homeless and whatever. Let's just go behind it. They're all human beings. We are. I mean, anything could happen to change our lives in such a negative way that it would have such a bad impact that we might not be able to cope with those times. And I feel, you find yourself, and there is a nice quote. It says, you find yourself in the service of others and helping other people. You find yourself. It's beautiful. And that's exactly what you help all of those people do, Barry. Really find themselves to help themselves. So well done.
it's the group that we work with who are absolutely fantastic. Our staff and volunteers, many of our volunteers have been through exactly what our service users have been through, so they know how to help. They know the things to say, and I can't thank our volunteers enough, because many of them have been in that position and are now giving back because they've been helped in the past. And that's really lovely to see.
Yeah, it is really lovely to see. Just congratulations. So that's brilliant. Thank you. So we've talked about how the community is going to engage with you going forward. So at the minute you're very closed down. It's COVID, and obviously you have your little shops and you have your expansion of the I don't know, somewhere to go enterprise, shall we call it? You know,
indeed, yeah. Let's call it that.
Yeah, the enterprise. So what are we hoping that's going to happen after we're allowed to engage normally with the new normals in the community? What are you hoping to
Thank you. That's a really good question, because the new day centre, which is the old Eurofoods supermarket, is much bigger than the space we have now. And it does mean that not only can we use the space that we're already occupying for some other purposes, but we can use the new greater space for other things. For instance, we have an offer, or partial offer, of putting in a commercial kitchen in the new day centre. And that would mean that we can actually do some training for people in how a commercial kitchen works. And we've already approached the college for that, Weston College, to say, you know, if you've got people that want to train in a commercial kitchen, we can help you with that. And that means that we can do perhaps a food hygiene certificate, a health and safety certificate, a COSH certificate for people that can then say, okay, I've got this, I've worked in a commercial kitchen. That gives them really good job opportunities, particularly in Weston, because it's a holiday resort, and there are a lot of places that need people who can work in commercial kitchens.
I think that's spot on, Barry. Absolutely spot on, mate. Because what you're giving is a life skill. It's life skills, whether they already have them or not. It's like topping them up and kind of giving your service users a reason to contribute to the community that they're going to be into. Is that, you know?
It's giving them some dignity, and also destigmatizing coming into Somewhere to Go, because although Somewhere to Go is a lovely place and it really is very friendly, it's still got that stigma of an old church hall that's giving out food, and we want to see if we can upmarket that a bit to destigmatize it. And I think we can achieve that in the next 12 months.
I listen, you have the full support of that Creative Thingy Wotsit and the Humans of Weston. You know, that's exactly, again, why we're here today, shining light on you and your fellow humans behind the organisation to understand, you know, that you're as cool as everybody else. Come on, guys. We're not just here, you know, for our fun. We you know, we're making contributions. We are history. We have life in us. So let me just talk about what Valerie says here. So she said, there was more good news. Someone who I helped when I first started with the Weston Supermare homeless page, there was one that was an alcohol and drug dependent who has been clean for 3 years now, over 3 years. Incredible. And she goes on to say, it was me that the campaign with the counsellors to help the day night command centre open. So we're talking about the night care assessment unit. Brilliant. Great work, Valerie. It's wonderful to hear from you.
Was that Val Donegan?
It is, yes.
Yeah, Val was really one of the first people really that got the ball rolling into dealing with rough sleeping in Weston Supermare. If it hadn't been for Val at the time, because you remember it was 3 years ago, we had the Beast from the East, and there were rough sleepers out there who didn't know this weather was coming in, and the council tried to get everyone in B&B because they need to do that under what they call severe weather emergency protocol. But there were some people that just wouldn't go into B&Bs. So Val helped me at the time open up Friends Meeting House as an emergency shelter, which we did. So, you know, fair play to Val. She's been really, really helpful right at the beginning on this.
Yeah, I do remember that actually. And I think there was an article I read at the time. So thank you for that. And really great work, Val. Maybe one day we'll get to meet and you'll be sat in this chair. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Val does go on to say, well done, Barry, by the way. So you obviously equally feel as both contributed to each other as well. So Stephen goes on to say, rebuilding lives, empowering people to better care for themselves and recover from what must be a very difficult times in their life, my hat is off to you all. So again, just saluting the work that's done under the, let's call it the umbrella of Somewhere to Go. So thank you very much. And I'm going to go on. It's a bit of a lengthy one, and I don't know if my reading abilities would cope, but James Clayton, the Labour councillor for Weston-super-Mare South Ward, has written, "Great to see Barry on here. Somewhere to Go and the Night Assessment Centre are vital services that really have a positive impact on people's life. Well done to Barry and all the team, along with Michelle, providing support to the people on the street. Look forward to coming to help out once it's safe to do so."
Good.
Spot on. And again,
Absolutely.
It's wonderful that you are known and your organisation is known to so many people that have such nice words to say about you. Compassion is key to what you do, Barry. Compassion is the absolute essence of Somewhere to Go. You know, I remember those years when I turned up to come and meet the people and the staff behind when I first started Humans of Weston, and just beautifulness straight from then. So Aid says, hi Aid, he says, there is a lot of rough sleeping in Weston, so anything that can help them rebuild their lives is amazing work.
Thank you.
Spot on. Yeah, it really is. So, Barry, as we wind down our discussion today, I was wondering if you have any, this is quite broad, last words, wise wisdoms that you would like to share with the Humans of Weston and about the work that you and your beautiful team do.
I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you to the community, because we're not doing this in isolation. The community has actually really helped. When we were able to have events like we had a coat exchange, for instance, which was very good. We made a lot of money from that. We had jumble sales, which were well attended. We had all kinds of fundraising activities, which we're able to do, which we're no longer able to do. For 12 months, we've had virtually no fundraising activities in the community. But nevertheless, those people that did support us are still supporting us now with ideas of what we can do when we get out of this. And so thank you for all our volunteers, thank you for the staff, and thank you to the community.
Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. We're here to thank you, and you're thanking everybody else. This is great. It's just the giving. It's just the giving, and the giving keeps going. And again, we are representing Weston, North Somerset, and we are telling people what we're about. And there's nothing better in our community than helping our community grow in so many ways. So thank you, Barry, for your time. Now, slightly off subject, but I was wondering, are you aware of our dementia-friendly campaign here at that Creative Thingy Wotsit with the Humans of Weston? We're trying to make North Somerset the most dementia-friendly county. So if you are not yet a friend of us, please follow the link that we've left down in the comment section and become a dementia friend. It doesn't take very long, and it's very simple to fill out a few questions. So Barry, I hope soon, if you're not already one, you'll become a dementia friend also, as well as the friends of everyone in Weston that you've helped ever.
Yeah, I am already a dementia friend, and all my workers are, all my staff are dementia friends.
Oh, well, I felt like I was preaching.
We've all got our badges. Yeah, it's fine.
There you go. So if you're watching this today and you're not currently a dementia friend, please follow Barry and his team into the future, into the light, and become a dementia friend, as well as supporting their beautiful work. So don't forget to check out the Night Assessment Centre. Somewhere to Go, and all of their beautiful projects that they're going to be shouting about on their social media. For a reminder, today we've spoken to Barry. I'm Bev G Star, a creative director of that Creative Thingy Wotsit, as well as the creative creator of Humans of Weston. Funding today has been brought to you for the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, in partnership with the National Lottery Fund. Barry, do you have anything else to say before we clock off today?
No, Bev, thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. To get our views out and our point and what we do has been fantastic. So thank you.
Good. It's been absolutely an honour, and what a deserving light to shine upon you and your team. So without further ado, Barry, if you want to stay online just as I log us off, and we'll say goodbye to everybody. So thank you for your beautiful comments. Keep following, keep liking, keep sharing. That's how for now. Bye.
Thank you.